Hey
Hey
everyone!
everybody, and welcome back to Breathe If You Agree.
We're so excited to be here. We have two wonderful guests today who are the creators, the actors, the stars, writers, and director of the movie Adult Best Friends. We are here with Delaney Buffett and Katie Corwin. Yay! Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Of course, this is always the fun part where we pretend that we weren't just chatting before, but it's just like, yes, like, please welcome to the stage. It's like, you know, when you're watching Jimmy Fallon and you're like, oh, you guys rehearsed this and talked about this for 3 hours before this, and they were just pretending. That's what this is. That's what this is.
Yes.
But thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We're so excited to have you.
We're very excited to be here.
We're excited.
First of all, we watched the movie. We
Absolutely loved it.
Adult Best
thank
Friends. It was
it feels weird to see you on the screen now.
I know.
Because we were watching you on our TV the other day.
Yeah.
We watched it together.
Yeah.
And it's so surreal. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. I feel like we're the
thank you.
stars. And it was, I mean, obviously we want to hear so much about the process and about the writing of it all, the directing, the starring in it, and kind of the development of it all. But I guess, why don't you tell us a bit about yourselves individually and as adult best friends? Unless you guys are enemies after the whole process. I could totally see that happening too.
Honestly, we're not.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, but Delaney,
We're not enemies.
You know, it's crazy. Like, I'm just thankful that we're still friends after all this. I'm like, what the hell? I legitimately had no idea that was on the table. Like, news to me that we were ever in danger of breaking up during the course of the movie. But I guess thankfully we didn't. But yeah, good joke. But
But I think like because we made it with Marie Nikolova, who's our producer, who
Love
introed
Marie.
us and helped us get on the podcast with you all. And like, I think that because we had a very solid foundation, like I've known Katie since we were 10.
Okay.
And Marie since I was in college. So I think there was the high stakes with the friendships made it work, but also we understand each other. So there's patience with one another and honesty that I feel like you can't always have with a colleague, less so. So like, it was a very honest process. Like one funny thing that I always think is like, Marie is a very honest person. And like when I was directing, but I was also in it. So it was, someone was like, how are you going to, know if you did a good job? I was like, I've got a secret weapon. and and so she would be at the monitor, but on the flight down to Mississippi where we shot, Katie was like, I'd like to pay for the upgrade. And Marie was like, what's that? She's like, I just be gentle.
gentle.
The entire time, please be gentle. And I was like, I don't want the upgrade. Like, I want full honesty. But it's different because Katie wasn't directing herself, so I could, have a
To be
communication
clear,
with her.
nobody got any upgrade. There was one thing that I did, and I turned around, and I literally saw her go, ugh. Oh my God. Like, all right, let me try that again, I guess.
But we were never like upset with one another because like we needed, it's like, okay, like what do you actually think? Because it's a low budget movie and we had 17 days. So, and Katie and I, because we've known each other for so long, we have a kind of like
Shorthand.
our own language, shorthand, if you will. So we were very quick with each other and I don't know if I would have like released, like we would have released the movie if our friendship fell apart. Like I think it would be pretty devastating. But
Re-edited
yeah.
to change the theme.
We've known each other since we were like 10 and so when we started working together it was like we have a pretty good relationship. I feel like I'm saying we're a couple. Like we have a pretty good working relationship.
And did you both know you wanted to perform and write like at 10 and like on that journey together? Like did you grow up knowing you both wanted to go into this industry and then you would expect to still be doing this together? Like was that a dream? Like we saw the montage of the two young girls into yours as well, which is so beautiful to also see because we were like watching and we were like, then it's them. We were like, yeah, it's them. Like the transition. I was like, they made it through to adult.
I'm smiling because definitely Katie, you were always a performer in a good way.
No one said anything.
No, but like you
It's
looked
a real kick out of theater.
you looked at me like I was. But Katie was always like very
Loud.
no.
No.
Like she was always very like she was always doing plays, but she was always incredibly good at like class projects and so creative and always brought like an edge that no fifth grader like I would think ever would think to do. And every like she did a Jimmy Carter for President's Day and like full accent wig, a bag of peanuts. Like it was the craziest transformation I've seen.
Yeah, commit, obviously, commit to the bit.
Yeah, the parents are coming to the assembly. I don't want to waste their time.
Right.
But we did also, like, with Delaney and I would always partner up for projects and everything. So we would have so much fun just like Delaney's saying, just taking it needlessly far. If you can't tell, we were losers and dorks. Our weekends were literally to the trifold, like, paperboard, like making some stupid project. But I would say we both always definitely loved writing, like in our own different ways. I would act more, and Delaney, I don't think this was her first time acting ever in this movie. And up until the very last second, she kept saying, you know, she wasn't going to do it because she was nervous, obviously, and because it's a huge undertaking to also direct yourself. And I kept saying, like, I mean, if you don't do it, then I shouldn't do it. Like, we should either be us or we should get, like, real actors, because it'd be, like, make no sense, like, if it's actually Katie and then just someone else playing you. And if there's any role you can play, hopefully it's like a heightened version of yourself. So and then we graduated college. I wanted to act, but they have to want you back, so it was a slow start, but a lot of auditioning.
We're still learning.
We feel that.
It's tough, but I'd be like reading sides, trying to audition, and I'd be complaining, obviously, being like, I mean, surely I can say, like, Mr. Johnson's your wife is on the phone. Just, like, give me a shot. Like, and then Delaney would be, like, producing for, like, shorts and stuff like that. And we started saying...
I was PAing, but
PAing.
that's okay.
But that's so nice of her. She's lifting you up.
Lifting me up, yeah. I produced short films, but I was...
You did. Yeah. And then we were saying, like, okay, let's just try to do this together. And so then we wrote a web series together, and then kind of just, like, with each thing, like, made it a little more of like a little bigger, like a little bigger responsibility. And then we did this.
That's amazing. That's so cool. I mean, it's also such a gift to be able to do this with your, like, and, like, also be learning together. Obviously, you both have so much experience, but, like, actually doing it. I mean, it's crazy to hear you guys talking about this and then see, like, a full-ass fucking movie on my screen and, like, wow. They really
17 days is crazy as well.
17 days is nuts. Yeah.
It's a toughie.
And I guess with that, I know you guys worked on a web series, and obviously I'm sure you guys bounce off ideas off of each other all the time. When did the kind of idea for this script come? Was this something that you'd always wanted to work on? Was it always like, oh, let's make a buddy comedy with each other? Or was it like, oh, I have this idea? And then also curious as a writer, like, what was your writing process like doing it together? Because I know lots of pairs of partners who are writers have very different processes, so I'm just curious.
Yeah. I think we wanted to, because, like, we've tried to write other larger things and have had things in development, as I'm sure you are all familiar with, and it always doesn't always go your way. And I think we wanted to write something that was low concept and low budget to make. Like, I think at some point we were like, we just want to make this. And we want to make it personal, and what is a story that we could tell. And it was like at Katie's wedding, I think, that I realized, like, oh my God, like, after I gave the speech, I was like, there's someone else in her life now that might be more important to me. And I, like, didn't really, what?
Oh.
No, you know this.
No.
She's a very good actress. She's heard this.
Your cast, Katie, your cast.
Yes.
Cut the cameras. Cut the fucking cameras. Yeah.
No, and it just became, I was like, it is kind of crazy, this idea of, you know, your friends when you're a kid, what does that look like going into adulthood? And so we kind of wanted to center it on that and our relationship and do something that, like, told that story of our friendship. But obviously, like, we wanted to do it specifically in our comedic voice. We wanted to create kind of an outrageous story around it that kind of guided everyone through. So we wrote it, I think, in like a year and a half, through edits with Marie. But that was sort of it came from this idea of, like, let's just write something we actually have the ability to make that, you know, we could be in, maybe, and cast. And we wrote roles for our friends. So, like, we wrote specific roles with our friends in mind, and sort of cast it from there, and then also did other casting. But, like, that was sort of the origin of that. And then our writing, like, when we were writing it, I think we are so close that there's an honesty, like it's not a sensitive subject, but it's like we are putting pieces of ourselves in some of the characters. So because we're so close, I'm not like insulted when she was like, oh, like I feel like your character like like wouldn't, like, I don't know, like maybe would be a little bit more judgmental. And I know that she, likes me. So it wasn't like I'm offended. And then Katie, if you want to speak to our writing process, because you...
Sure. Our writing process, we didn't realize that it might be a little unique until we were speaking with like other pairs of writers, and they're like, you do what? But a lot of other writers apparently pass things back and forth or I'll work on this scene, you work on this scene, we'll come together and like we've done double the work. We, I guess, work at half speed because we literally write every single thing together on a shared screen. So if we're together, then we'll honestly just both be in front of one computer. But if we're working remotely, which often we are, because I live in New York and Delaney lives in California, we'll do like a shared screen and like a dual, what is it? Like a collaboration.
Like on Final Draft, the collaboration.
Draft. Yeah. And we'll just like watch someone go. And it'll be like, no, wait, like let me do that. And then like watch someone go, like, yeah, that's good. Okay, skip down. Okay, I'll do that. So it's probably slower, but it's more fun. And it also definitely keeps us like on the same page. What a stupid... that was accidental.
Wow.
That was accidental. On the same word. Yeah, that's how we do it. Works for us.
That's so fun though. I mean, honestly,
So cool.
I know what you're saying. Like it might go slower, but then it's also it genuinely.
How do you do it? Out of curiosity, if you're writing with someone,
like even for like we just wrote the third season of
because you're in the room,
yeah. So I mean, the scripts themselves. I mean, there's just so much more when there's like 10 writers in the room and how we like pass around things and whatnot. But like for example, like I co-wrote an episode. This past year with my friend Maggie Sheridan, a great writer, and we would just like we worked together, but then also like I was like I'm gonna do a pass at like the first half of the episode. You'll do the second. Sometimes you'll do separate scenes. I've done what you've done in the past for sure, and it's slow. It's slow, but it's more fun to me.
It's more fun,
because it's like it's not just like, oh my God, I really like this joke that you wrote. Like, great job. This scene is so good. And I'll just like make some tweaks. It's like, no, we did this whole fucking thing together.
You find like what works in that moment together. Even if it's like, no.
Yeah.
Maybe, yes. Yeah. Like that.
Yeah. No,
it's especially helpful like earlier on, like while you're still kind of like breaking things down and seeing where it could go, like because there's so much discussion to still be had versus like I tried my best here, you like what do you think? It's like I think it's all wrong.
And with comedy I find it so fun to like be able to Katie's very good at this, just to be able to like surprise with a joke and then you get to watch in real time them enjoy it and then the flip side of it is the real time of them being like it's good and then it's good. I don't know if, and you're just like, okay, well, that took me 20 minutes for that one joke.
Actually, let me explain to you why.
Exactly. No, it's funny, you just don't get it.
This is actually, you were supposed to be laughing, so I'm going to say it 3 more times, and we're just going to make sure that you get it. Yeah.
Maybe in a different voice.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
Also, Katie, I'm sure and Delaney, now that you did a full performance too. I mean, as like performers, it's also like in that writing process. Like, I mean, one of the fun parts as like actors is also, and I think this is why a lot of actors make very good writers, is because you can just like really like bounce off of each other as if you're like, in the scene.
Yeah.
There's that aspect because there's a lot of writing too where I'm just like, this is not what human beings would say. Like,
like no.
Yeah.
I always feel for the actor just being like, all right, let me try to make this work.
Yeah. It's also when you get sides for like an audition and you're like, this is. I swear to God, this is not how people speak. Like, this is not how they speak. Yeah.
Gay men, a lot of the time, the gay roles.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, we know who wrote this.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, married with a wife and 3 kids. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Slay the boots, bitch. You better bring that pussy over here. I'm gonna drop dead, diva. Yeah.
That is actually how we speak.
Yeah, that's how we speak.
I don't know why I'm about that.
You're like, I mean, it's semi-accurate.
Yeah. I'm like,
Maybe they are right sometimes.
Yeah, if you read our text message conversations, that's kind of exactly what we're saying back and forth to each other. So I guess period, sister. You know. And then I guess so. I mean, I have so many questions about the process itself, if that's okay. Like,
yeah.
I guess also Delaney, like, have you done a lot of directing before? I mean, this is directing on like a major production and also directing yourself, which I'm like, I mean, I guess there's a version of that in the mirror every morning where you're just like, you stupid bitch. But,
yeah.
Like, what is that? What did that look like? How was that? Yeah, you know, self-talk.
It was no. It was very. I mean, it was. I don't think I've said this, but I don't think I would do it again until I have more experience with either. If that makes sense. It was a really big challenge on a shoestring budget, and everyone was doing 900 jobs. So, but like I did a lot of prep. Like I knew that I would be spread thin emotionally and physically, which I was. Like I was I like went through a lot during the shoot, like a breakup and a bunch of stuff. So at the end, people were like, I'm like surprised that you're still alive.
Right.
And that's not me bragging, like, oh, I'm so strong. It's like, even without that, it's
bad.
No, that sounds
even
awful.
Without that, even without that, as you know, it's such a difficult process to get anything made, to do anything, whether like feature or short or web series. It's so stressful on set. So you kind of have to like, I basically just I had a million questions coming at me, and I was like, okay, I've done this before on a short level. I cannot imagine what it's like at the level of a feature. I'm going to prep like the shit out of this. Like I'm going to go through the script. I'm going to have every note that I have for an actor for the scenes I'm in. Like I'm going to make sure I have a complete shot list and a grid. And by the way, you can over prepare and then everything goes so wrong. You're like, why the hell did I spend like 6.5 hours doing this shot list and everything changed? But I still think it was great because like I still had answers to people's questions. And then I think because I had kind of been producing in pre-production, then Marie and I like agreed like, okay, at some point you're going to have to like take the producer cap off and just focus on the creative, which it was hard to do. But I think like I've learned like how important it is to just prepare, but then also like kind of forget about it on the day. But people say like, it's so spontaneous, and like, yes, it is, but like having the knowledge even of your own script, being like, oh, I know the scene like the back of my hand. Like I don't have time in I had like 1 to 2 takes maybe. So it's like, I kind of have to like get that out. And then I have to, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I know what I wanted to tell this actor in this scene or what I wanted beforehand. So there was a lot of preparation ahead of time. And like, I was grateful that I had like Marie and Katie and my friends to act with, because they were very graceful with like a lot of times, like I would just be like watching the scenes, so excited. I'd be in the scene and there's like footage of me like this. I'm like, I'm like supposed to be upset. And then the AD would be like, hey, you're doing great, but it's like a pretty emotional scene where you're just so excited. I'm like, well, they're being so funny.
And you look thrilled.
You look so excited. So stuff like that where people are like, we get it. But it was great to just like, it was such a learning experience to do it with friends who were a lot more lenient than probably some people might be in that situation. Even though it was probably flattering, I was so excited about their performances, but at the same time, it's like, all right, let's get this going.
Totally.
Yeah.
And knowing each other for so long and then going into like such a brilliant and new adventure, did you both learn anything about each other that you did not know from knowing each other for so long during this process? And something that maybe surprised you? Yeah.
Oh, Katie's been waiting to say this.
Yeah, we're recording, right? I never knew. No, I would say more, it surprised me, like, Delaney is always so, like, genuinely kind to people. She doesn't lose her temper. She never really
just like we practiced.
Snaps it. Yeah, am I nailing it? She never, like, snips. And I'm always like, there must be a line, right? Like you could get her to lose it. And you really can't.
Oh, wow.
Like, I actually couldn't believe, like, there were so many questions coming at her, so many, like, of your just kind of everyday, like, snags on set, you know, X is missing, Y is late. And she always had time for each person, never yelled. I was honestly, like, astounded. It's like, where's the yelling? Just a little yelling. No yelling.
Wow.
Couldn't believe it.
That's incredible.
That's amazing.
It was
I don't
crazy.
know. Can't relate.
Yeah.
Can't
So
relate.
Marie and I had to yell extra. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I don't want to be like, I'm not trying to purposely be good cop. Thank you,
Yeah.
Katie. That was very kind.
Do you have anything?
To anyone looking to hire a kind director.
Yeah, anyone who wants to not get anything done in this industry, I'm so nice.
No, they got done. It all
No.
got done.
Yeah.
It got done. I'm kidding.
No, and by the way, it shows that it can get done, and you still don't have to.
you
be
can
a
get
fucking
done. You
asshole.
can still
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
something.
It's
My
rough.
turn?
Yeah, it's your turn. If you want.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, Katie is a very interesting person in that. No, it's a good thing. These looks, and then I look like an asshole.
She's acting.
Katie really has an ability to very much like her curiosity makes you feel very seen and cared for. Like I joked at her wedding, like and it's like a very funny, endearing quality. And it would be like, like it'll be like I have a question, like do your parents still like kiss on the lips? Like are they together? And you're like, wait, what? Yeah. But it's so charming and sweet, and it shows that she's actually paying attention. And I think like I knew that about her, but I think I didn't know how important it is like when you're with a big group of people, like especially like for her, like if you're like a leader on set, like her demonstrating that she actually got to know every person and had relationships with our cinematographer, and by the end the cinematographer was like, Katie is my favorite actress I've worked with, and the AD who's worked on everything was like, I love Katie because she would do that, but she was very much like she knew to draw the line between like having fun and being personal but also like professional. So there wasn't any like shenanigans that got in the way of, as our AD would call it, the process. He said that she respected the process, but also was very, like she got to know everyone, which is difficult on a set when you're doing everything. So, yeah.
Oh, so
is that good enough?
Yeah, that was good. Thank you.
So good.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That's awesome. I feel like it really is a testament to your friendship too, that like you're able to. I really truly. I've definitely worked on things with friends before, which I have loved. But there's just like some moments, like in the past, like years and years ago, where it's just like, oh wow, and it's just a lot of personalities. And also, by the way, it's how it is on any set. It's like there's a lot of shit going on, especially, and yeah, that's also what I wanted to talk about a little bit more. Is like you guys did it on a low budget and in a very short period of time, and that only adds stress and like a lot less cushion and whatnot. But so I think you said earlier, and I didn't know this, where did you film it, and what was it like being in that town? Did you say, where were you guys? Mississippi.
We were in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Okay. I want to hear about that.
and how you found
Yes.
My family is from the South. They're from Mississippi and South Carolina and Alabama areas. So when we were looking for a tax incentive for like a low budget movie, we saw Mississippi and we knew it was going to take place in the beach town. So I was like, oh, perfect. I have family near that area. I worked in New Orleans on a couple projects, so I was familiar with like, getting down there and operating out of there. And so with the tax incentive plus like having family and knowing the area and the beach, we were like, okay, let's go do this. And we had a really, really funny, amazing time. We were there for like 2 weeks, and Katie and I shared a hotel room. This is just the budget of it. Katie and I shared a hotel room, and it was like a suite, but the middle suite was the hair and makeup and wardrobe, and then the other side was where the costume designer Fatima stayed. So literally we would wake up and you would just hear people getting their makeup done, but like, I mean, my call was always early, but like, so we were very close with everyone. And it was 105 degrees outside and 59 AC inside. So you're like everyone got sick.
Yeah. No.
It was, I mean, we both grew up in Florida. So like when I heard we were shooting down there and it was August, I'm like, all right, it'll be warm. But like I've been warm before. When we got out of the car from the airport, I could not believe it.
Yeah.
There's like a breeze, but the breeze is like a hairdryer. Like it is hot air. It is so muggy. There was one place between takes they would let the cast sit in like the walk-in freezer because it was like my mic is waterlogged. Like I look so sweaty. It was really truly so hot. And I would say so many moving pieces, like because we also shot in LA, where we like a lot of people are from, so it was a little smoother because it's like you know the terrain a little bit more. In Mississippi, we are all new, and Delaney is spread so thin. I'm spread so thin. Marie, the producer, just threw it on her back, like. She had, at one point, I remember seeing her have 2 cell phones in each hand, legitimately having 2 different conversations going like this. God. She had a bald spot in the back of her head from stress.
God, it's gone now. It's gone now.
It's gone now. I'm just like painting the picture of like, it was a very difficult. And I knew it'd be difficult going in. And after the first day, I was like, I had.
We developed a severe NyQuil, like, get us to this problem. Addiction. Like, we had severe NyQuil on the table, like, because our brains couldn't turn off at the end of the day. And so it was literally like, what do we do? It's like, is it bad we've taken NyQuil 5 nights in a row?
I don't think so.
I also think I'm sick.
Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah, you were taking care of it. I definitely, I feel like everyone has a bad NyQuil story. I definitely have a bad, maybe not a bad one.
The adrenaline, though. I like it too. Except in the morning when it's too, you have to get up too early, and then you're just like dragging.
You're drunk.
Otherwise, it's great.
Yeah, maybe that's what Dayquil is for. I don't think I've ever done both of them. Maybe Dayquil is
even
to
you out.
Yeah, there's just like a little bit of Adderall in there. It just gets you going for the day. And then I know you were saying you guys filmed in LA too. So is that where you guys filmed? By the way, wonderful cast. Love the cast. Great.
So good.
All stars. I know I worked with Kazi on like something during, what was that? COVID, not the start.
Oh, yeah.
A very small thing. And I know Mason Gooding because he's friends with my ex-boyfriend.
Oh, really?
Yes.
He's at our apartment.
He's been to our apartment. Yeah. Because
the one that we lived in together.
Like, one year together,
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was dating a man at the time, unfortunately. And first of all, they were so great. And Zach Quinto, of course. And I only know Zach Quinto from Heroes when I was in the closet, and I was like, who's that?
Who's my favorite character?
Oh my God. I was like, I like him. Bring him back more. But yeah, all-star cast. And how, and did you know some of them before? What was it like working with them? It's so great. And also just, what an attractive cast.
Yeah, gorgeous.
I was like, I could keep watching. Let's give me another hour.
We were friends with a lot of, like, I'm friends with we're friends with Kazi, and we are friends with Corey Walls, who played Dougie, the Airbnb host, and Connor Hines, who played Katie's love interest, or shouldn't be love interest. And Zach Quinto is Marie, who produced it. She works for him. So that's kind of like, she was said to us, he'll play a role if you write it for him. And so we kind of developed that character with him. And then we wrote for our friends. And then Marie basically cast the rest of it with like stand-ups and other people like Benjamin Norris, who's so great, and Carmen Christopher and Michael Rowland. Like, they came down to Mississippi with us, and they really were troopers.
Yeah, they were.
So it was like a combo of friends and writing for friends, and also just like casting people that we loved and we had seen their stand-up or we had seen them in shows, and taking, like, being like, hi, is there any way they'd, do this role? And Heather Mazura, who plays Zach's wife in the movie, they've been friends, like, very close since they were 11. They grew up together in Pittsburgh.
She's hilarious.
Yeah.
She's so
everyone was great.
And Corey and Connor are cousins. So, like, we almost had, like, a cheat code. Like, we're best friends, they're cousins, they're lifelong friends. Like, kind of, like, get the chemistry going, because God knows we didn't have the time. I mean, we didn't rehearse. There was no time. So, yeah, just rely on someone being cousins.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's nice.
Amazing, too. No, you couldn't tell. I mean, no rehearsal at all. Y'all were so comfortable, and you two together, obviously you're best friends, but like, even everybody together felt so grounded in everything. Even I love to the friends you run into from, or I guess you friend, but like old time for the BBQ.
The BBQ.
Yeah, the BBQ.
Which it was so, to hear that is like shocking, because like it was so grounded and cool and like chill. Like, watching it, you don't feel like that.
Thank
chaos,
you. She was a last minute. The original actress. She had to memorize 10 pages of dialogue in like an hour and a half.
Oh,
that morning on the way to set, we had to recast because the person got COVID.
Okay.
And
Literally in the car on the way to set, we were like, fuck. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, what are we going to do? And
Right.
yeah, by the grace of God, it worked out. Like, she just completely nailed it.
She nailed it, yeah.
Yeah, she's
And
great.
was another trooper. Like, she wasn't stressed. She just walked in and did it perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like, I'm so sorry, like, it's 10 pages of dialogue. And she was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
And
I get it. She did. You wouldn't have known, and that's what I was saying. Like, also, sorry to bounce off of Julian. Like, it's super grounded, but also the comedy was absolutely there. Like, the comedy for everyone was. I mean, it was. I mean, I know you're saying that you worked with a lot of people who work in comedy and whatnot, but it's also. I feel like when you're in a big group like that, it's hard. Sometimes you're a little bit like, oh, is someone going to stand out or take away or whatever, and that's like, that's not how I came off at all.
oh,
And
good. I'm glad, yeah.
yeah, no, loved it, and also curious, like, is from a writing perspective too, is a lot of that. I know you guys were working together, but was it like, oh, let's remember that funny thing from our past, let's put that in the movie? Like, not, you don't have to say anything specifically, but like, was there anything like, oh, this interaction with this person, or sorry, oh, yeah, sorry, I heard a siren. I was like,
Oh, no, sorry.
no, New York City.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
That was my next door building's on fire. The thing that comes to mind first is like the beer opener on the bottom of the shoe
Oh,
is a real story.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say actually what happens,
Yeah.
but for our listeners,
That's a true story, yeah.
True story. Yeah. Poor high schooler at a college party, like, thought they saved the day.
Oh
And
my God, that is,
Yeah.
I mean, it was so disgusting to watch
Very
on
bad.
screen.
I
Holy
know.
shit. Yeah.
so sad.
Well, yeah. By the way, there was a little part of me that was like, "Oh my God, that's so brilliant! I can't believe they thought about that." And you're like, "No,
Didn't-
fuck it
yeah,
out."
didn't-
No, it's not. It's real.
Audie's like, hey, you stole my story. I was like, well,
yeah,
you didn't make a movie.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the baby monitor. I think we heard of happened to
that's
someone
another-
once.
I'm sure
That wasn't a friend. It was like a friend of a friend,
Right.
and we'd heard it enough. And then I'm trying to think of anything else that was real. Kate and I actually did meet at a sleepover. It wasn't a sleepover. We met before at like a party, and we became friends because one of us was like upset about not being included.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they call that excluded from the group.
That's another way to say
I've heard
it.
that once or twice.
not being
Short,
included.
a shortcut on the way there.
And I don't.
Oh,
and
and the
Airbnb.
oh god, yes.
Oh.
But I was gonna say yes. I had an insane Airbnb experience in Venice where it was supposed to be a private space,
Right.
and we were very much living with this woman. And she'd pop in and be like, "Sorry, mind if I get that hamper?"
Oh God.
I'm kind of using it. Like,
yeah.
it was feeling present. But I was gonna say the Delaney character's like remote work, like the really like the no boundaries boss is also ripped from the headlines of my life I had. With there was a boss that would put time on my calendar and just be like, I want to get in there.
Oh.
Like, come on. Like, my legal name is Catherine, and for like 2 years I let them call me Catherine because I was like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Like, we're not friends.
Right.
I'm not Katie. Like, you just
You don't know
you
me.
stay right over there. Yeah, and the more I did that, the more they were just really trying to
Yeah, just get in. Just
Get
break
personal.
through.
Yeah.
I also love those love Owen too.
Owen's so funny.
so funny.
Yeah, that was fun. I feel like it's very much that I was like, this is like when you have that job and they're like, okay, well, like, let's all do that, like, do this after work, or like, oh, we're mandatory this and that, and you're like, wait, no, I just did I did the job. Why am I?
I just want to do the job.
Yeah. Also,
Massive
you are.
pet peeve.
Also, it's nice to make a friend at work. It's great if it works out, but like, I don't. We work together. Like, I ultimately.
That's right.
Yeah. He's trying to say something to me.
Yeah. No, not in creative fields. No, I mean like in my past life, you know, like
Right.
what did I do? I don't know. I worked on that.
Is there
But, yeah.
anything, like, I know y'all work so hard, everybody involved, to put this together, and probably talk to so many people and getting advice from, and sometimes unsolicited advice from other people. Is there one thing that you heard, or like from somebody that you would not, like, that you would disregard now that you finished it, or like something that really
Yeah.
weighed on you, but you didn't
Great
really need to
question.
worry about?
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think about it. there's so many things we did wrong that I'm like,
Mine's kind of stupid, but I think it's pretty honest. I was definitely like trying to like diet before shooting. I was like really like, I don't want to say it was my number one priority, but it was up there. Like,
it was mine.
I was just really in my head about like, it'll be there forever, and you know, this camera adds 10 pounds, like that kind of thing. First of all, I look the exact same no matter what I did, so you can't tell. But also, like, it's so unimportant compared to the actual like scene work. Like once you're actually there and you're in part of the story, like if that's what you're thinking about, you got big problems.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
I think too, like on like just backpacking off of that, I think like people will like. There's so much pressure and awareness on your body and what you're supposed to be doing for sure. And I dieted as well. And I was like, the same thing with Katie. I was like, wait, what? Like, I was like, I ran so much. Yeah. I guess that's like being in your early 30s, you start to be like, okay. Right. But I think like you get told like for blocking, which is so important and things I have one that it was kind of like, like don't like with comedy, it's like, oh well, don't worry about blocking. Like you'll get like you'll figure out when you get there. And it's like, no, I think that was important to block. And I think there's like with comedy specifically, and it's great, but there's this thing of like just let it free flow. Like you can improv. Like just like don't put too much pressure on it. But in actuality, when I got on set, I was like, oh, structure is necessary. And like, I wish I could be like a free throw, like, let's just kind of like see what happens thing. But once I got on set, I was like, oh, blocking is important. Structure is important. Like for story, for your edit, like these things are great. Cause as much as I want to sit around and laugh and have it be the most fun set ever, you kind of still have to be like, no, like we have a plan. It's a comedy, but we still have a plan and there's still something we're doing. And you can still find spontaneity within that. Now I sound like a real stickler for the rules, but you can still find spontaneity within that. But like, I think I would definitely say there has to be order, even though it's like a funny with all these, and you have all these great comedians. So you really are tempted to just like do whatever you want to do. But then it's also like people want, I want direction. So it's like people kind of want to stay in the lane a little bit. Yeah. And the dieting thing for sure.
You can also, I feel like when you're on set, you're like, that is funny actually, like say that instead. And it's like, hold on. You wrote it like that for a reason. Like, like you can get that one, but you have to get how it's written because it was thought out. There was a purpose. And when you're editing it, you're going to need exactly what you wrote before as opposed to the thing you thought was funny in the moment.
Yeah. That is definitely, I've been on sets before where it's like, okay, yes, you are the funniest person in the room, but we worked on that for 5 months, so let's also maybe we can do that one, but let's do that one too.
That was so me in high school or college being like doing something like musical theater and doing something so funny one night and be like, we're keeping it, and then getting notes being like, go back to it, and you're like, but it's funny, like this is funnier. And then you're like, no, but it's like, I made it better. But then it's like, you put so much work into that vision already. Right. So
I know my title is actor and yours is writer, but I think I actually.
But we're switching.
I think I know. Yeah. No, but I think that and you want, because like comedy is so much more fun and so much fun when it's super super collaborative. So it's and also like people were so funny individually. Like I was laughing, like I said, I was watching the scene. But you get so distracted by how fun, and I just love funny people. So I was like, more. And like, it was like a thing where I was so excited to be around all these funny people that I would sometimes, in the edit, I would be like, oh wait, like we didn't, or I even edited that way for a little bit where I'm shoving jokes in versus approaching it story first. And you get distracted because it's so exciting to be around funny people. But then you're like, wait, that joke has nothing to do with the character, nothing to do with the story. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it now, except watch it over and over again by myself. as a nice memory, which is that worth it? Yeah. But I think it is. Like, I think it's important to keep morale up. But yeah, it's so exciting to be around all these funny people. And then you're just like, you sometimes get lost in it because you're hoping, you're just like, I could laugh all day and that's all I want to do.
Yeah. Well, it's so apparent because you do laugh throughout the entire movie. Like, truly, we really... It was so fun.
It was fun.
Me and Nick had a great time.
It was also fun to watch it as adult best friends.
As best friends, we were like so like, oh my God, that's us. Or like,
Yeah.
or like
I was like, oh my God,
me.
that's you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
And
those
then,
things, I was like, okay.
and then, so now kind of, I mean, I guess, so you guys did it. I know you went to Tribeca. Like, I guess, what was that like? And then now kind of like, what's next? Like, I know that it's going to be released, and I mean, we got to see it, but yeah, we got a screener. Like, calm the fuck down.
And then on
but
HBOMax, so exciting.
Yeah, and the trailer's out. So I guess, like, what was that? Like, what were the next steps? And then kind of like, what's the future? And now, do you just wait? What happens with that?
It will be out on, we're doing like a couple like special screenings. Like we're doing one in Houston and New Orleans and Indianapolis and Cincinnati and Brooklyn. And those are just like sneak preview screenings. And then it will be released on VOD, so Prime and iTunes on February 28th.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then it will be in HBOMax starting in April.
Okay.
April 25th.
Okay, wow.
That's so
It's a
exciting.
lot of dates, but
Yeah.
yeah. So, and we're excited. I think like we want it. Like it's really fun to see a comedy with an audience, but also like I think it's also a great movie to watch on your couch. I mean, it sounds bad. We worked on it hard. I'm like, you just sit on the couch and watch it. But,
You just throw it on.
but throw it on. You don't even like. It's one of those movies you don't even pay attention.
Yeah.
No, but I think and we now we're just kind of waiting to see the reception, which is incredibly nerve-wracking. And I am someone who will be like, maybe I'll just look up that review.
Yeah.
And then I hurt
The other
myself.
day she sent me screenshots of like mean review or like comments on YouTube.
Well,
I'm
someone
like,
said,
I
let me
don't
guess
need to
how it
see
ends.
this.
They end up together. And I was like, oh. Okay, and somebody goes, yeah, don't spoil it for us, like sarcastically. And I was like, wait, no, like, did you watch the trailer fully? Like, we're friends. And it's not even mean words, but it's people like, oh, we know how this ends and stuff like that, where you're like, no, that's not how, we're not together. The whole point is that we're friends, we're platonic, like, that's it. But then I also go on Letterboxd sometimes, and I'm just like, just a peek.
Yeah.
And then it's
I don't do
awful.
that.
I mean, you could have it could be the greatest movie of all time, and someone would still be like, poopy fart, you look stupid. Like,
Yeah, like
stupid
no,
shit.
just no, 1 star
no,
we got.
yeah.
And I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
I was like, just no?
You're also like,
To
did you
be
see
clear,
it?
there are some good ones on there too.
Yes. Yeah, no, of course.
There are about to be 2 more. Nick,
Yes.
make a letterbox.
Exactly.
Please. But I don't know where I was going with that.
No, just about.
That we're waiting for reception, and some of us read the reviews, but shouldn't.
Yeah. We had some reviews during Tribeca, which was like very exciting. Like it feels so honestly surreal. Like it's like they watched it, like they really did, like, and they're gonna write about it. They really are. And then if you see that it's a good review, you're just like, I mean, I personally, like, I was like disassociating. I was like, what? Like a review in a paper?
Right.
In a
Yeah.
newspaper?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
so surreal.
What's that?
It was so odd. And then also you think about your last day of shooting and everyone's like, oh man, like that was so long and hard, like all done now. And it's like, you haven't even begun.
Yeah.
Right.
Like in 2 years, you're going to be doing this.
Right.
Like it is really, a long process. And we're in the middle of it still.
Yeah.
And when did you shoot this? 2 years ago?
August 2023, so almost 2 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, for the way that a lot of films work, that's also, I mean, not to take away from it at all, but
No,
there's,
it's-
sometimes it can
right.
be. No, I mean, like what I'm also saying is it's amazing that you guys are able to wrap, edit it, release it. Now it's going to be like on VOD and at streamers. Like that's major. And but that also just says so much about like you guys and your work ethic and kind of.
Thank you.
Also, like, kind of, again, just like a message to fucking, if you can, and obviously it's easier said than done, but to do it for yourself, like, that's the thing. I think nowadays, especially in film and media and TV, it's like we can pitch all year long, and then they'll buy it, it'll never make it, and this and that. It's like you guys had a plan and you executed it, and now like there's stuff to show for it, and that's incredible.
Yeah. I also think with comedy too, like you all know, it's like it's so voice specific and voice dependent that it's so like I think it's so like with certain I find that the shows that I like the most are ones that have like very specific voices, and I think nowadays like people are like there's no more comedies, and I think there are, but they're just these like I think you can make. This is like me saying as though I'm going to figure out and completely like figure out the business. But like, I think that the way that horror is made, I know horror has a large audience and people love horror, but I think there's a way to make great indie comedies, you see that aren't like, I just think that's such a great thing that I love seeing and I love going to see, and I think there's a need for it. I sound so close to saying more than ever, and you should just get out there and do it.
Yeah.
No, but I do think that like people do need comedy, and I think like you can't. I think a lot of times people think of like, oh, comedy's this huge studio thing, or it's a TV. But I think there's like definitely a way through the indie world to do harder comedy if it's like a simple idea with, it's a little easier to execute. But yeah, that being said, it's so hard to get something off the ground, do something, and I think we feel super lucky that we were able to make this and get it, and it's actually being seen by people. And yeah, that's a testament to like Marie and everyone around us who just worked Zach like tirelessly to do this, and like we're not paid that much given what they now I'm gonna like they were paid.
Yeah, you're getting flagged.
It's illegal. But yeah, I think when you have people that just really like are in it with you and really want to do it, especially at the independent level, it's like that's really what it takes, because no one cares about it as much as you do. That's really like something we've learned that we knew. But it's like, hey, do you mind? It's like, I'm going about my day. Like, you're the only person who cares about this movie. It's like, right, okay, totally.
Well, we are the lucky ones that it did get made, and we got to experience it. And so is everybody else. Everybody who is listening, please go watch Adult Best Friends when it is available on streaming, because this will come out before then. But it is February 28th on VOD.
February 28th, Prime,
and then
Apple.
All of
love
those
it. And then
ones.
end of
Other
April
things.
is HBO Max.
Yeah.
Look out for it. Search
And
it.
the trailer's
stream
out
it.
now.
Yeah.
And also please, if obviously if there's anything else you want to promote or whatever, but also your handles, where to find you, where to keep updated with what's to come, because obviously I think this is, it's not just the beginning, because you guys have already done so much stuff, but this is the beginning of the next chapter, and it's a great one. So please let them know.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having us on. Seriously,
course.
we had a very good time.
Yeah.
Good.
And we're just both on Instagram, and our handles are our names.
There you go. There you go.
You can't miss us.
Straight to the point. Sometimes we'll have someone on and they're like, I'm like, slut pop 280,
All my
That's my other
handles are
account.
different.
Yeah.
So it's like
really?
I didn't never imagine anything. So literally it's all different. It's like
They're all different ones.
Julian Brzezinski, Julian 811, Julian something. So always when it's like to plug it, it's like a long list. So it's refreshing, and
You can find me in 18 different places, and none of them are the same. So good luck. Yeah.
Good luck. I hope to hear from you.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much
y'all
for
so
coming
much.
on, and we
thank
love the
you.
movie, and we can't wait for our viewers and listeners to see it themselves.
yes, can't wait for the amazing reception it will
Yes.
have.
Well,
So
thank you. Thank you. If
5
you're on
stars all
Letterboxd,
around.
5 stars.
Five
Be
stars.
gentle.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.